that was a knockdown, without a doubt. You can't spin it no other way. It's too clear. And I think the commission needs to do something about it because it can give me an incentive, anytime I'm not feeling good in a fight, take a knee.
The feeling is that it wasn't a knockdown. I mean, look, he wasn't hurt. There's no doubt about that. But if you take a knee in the fight and you touch down, whilst punches are being thrown, it has to be a knockdown.
I'm not going to say honest because I don't know if honesty had something to do with it. I don't know. But definitely we need better refs that assure themselves, know how to make a decision, know they're making the right decision.
Newly leaked footage has reportedly revealed how Gervonta Davis may have cheated during his fight against Roach on March 1st at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. The match, where Davis defended his WBA lightweight title, sparked a lot of buzz in the boxing world. The focus of the controversy came in the 9th round when Davis appeared to take a knockdown after a light jab from Roach grazed his face. According to standard boxing rules, this should have counted as a knockdown, and the referee should have given a full count. However, the referee let the fight continue, which kept the scores close and led to a majority draw as the final result.
Did Gervonta Davis take a knee, and should he have been deducted a point, and in the end lost that fight to Roach, in your opinion?
Yeah, in my opinion, it was a draw. He take a knee. And plus the corner go up and put it a towel in the face. That's a disqualification for sure. I'm talking about the rules, but it's not my business.
In the days after the fight, questions have continued to arise, not just about the referee's decision, but also about the fighter's actions during that key moment. Now, newly leaked footage has added fuel to the fire, suggesting that Davis may have intentionally manipulated the situation in the ring to gain an unfair advantage.
Well, they said and that's not a shot at Tank. I respect Tank and I like Tank a lot, but you can't do that.
They reversed the result of your fight.
Yeah.
Should they reverse the result of that fight as well?
Just depends. Like if that changes the whole fight, if that gives Roach a victory, give him the victory. That's how you keep the integrity of the sport, right? That's why they suspended me, right, to keep the integrity of the sport. So I feel like if you're gonna do it to me, you got to do it to everybody.
Newly surfaced footage, allegedly captured from an undisclosed source within the broadcast team, shows crucial moments from the controversial 9th round from a new angle. This footage has sparked further debate, as it highlights several unusual aspects of Davis's behavior. It appears that Davis paused right after Roach's jab, almost as if he had planned the move in advance. Instead of reacting instinctively, his body language and the timing of his knee drop seemed deliberate and rehearsed. In the same clip, a brief shot catches a member of Davis's corner moving in unusually close, almost as if ready to step in. Normally, corners help with tasks like wiping sweat or adjusting gloves between rounds, but the timing and proximity in this instance have raised some eyebrows. Some analysts suggest that Davis's reaction, falling to one knee and quickly retreating to his corner, could be a tactic to buy time or break Roach's rhythm. This would be a deliberate move. Unlike the natural response seen when a fighter is genuinely hurt, these visual cues have led some fans and experts to question whether what seemed like an accident or slip might have been a calculated act to slow Roach's momentum. In response to these growing allegations, Davis and his team have quickly dismissed the claims in several social media posts and interviews. Davis insists that his knee drop was caused by a momentary loss of vision from grease in his hair, a reason that many fans found hard to believe. He also pointed out that leaked footage taken out of context can be misleading, arguing that the full fight is more complicated than a few seconds of video can show. Adding to the controversy, referee Steve Willis has faced heavy criticism for not counting the knee drop as a knockdown. While Davis's camp says Willis made a judgment call under unusual circumstances, critics argue that the combination of the referee's inaction and the calculated nature of Davis's movements raises suspicions of possible collusion.
Knowing how to make a decision, know they're making the right decision, emboldened to make that decision. I think that I don't know that he would have let Roach get away with that. He let Tank Davis get away with. Why? Tank Davis is a star. I think he set a record for the most fans ever in Barclays Stadium. Tell me if I'm right or wrong, but I believe they hit a new attendance and maybe a gate record. They've done concerts there, they've done fights there, basketball games there.
Yeah, I think you're right. It was the record for the gate for a fight for sure. I think the Rolling Stones might be the only one that beat them at the Barclays, but either way, they did huge numbers.
The absence of an immediate official review, compounded by technical issues with the instant replay system during the fight, has only fueled suspicions. If the leaked footage is proven to show deliberate cheating, the fallout could be severe. Gervonta Davis, whose record has been nearly spotless until now, might face not just damage to his reputation but also potential sanctions from boxing authorities. There are already talks about whether the WBA or the New York State Athletic Commission will reopen an investigation into the events of the fight. This situation could have broader implications beyond just Davis's career. It highlights some serious concerns about the state of professional boxing, where quick decisions, unclear calls, and the possibility of misconduct often lead to controversy. If regulators find evidence of intentional rule-breaking, it could lead to calls for tougher oversight and stronger review systems to protect the integrity of the sport.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the reality is can the state call for an immediate rematch? I don't believe they can, the commission. It's really up to the governing body. I mean, the commission can overturn a decision or rule on a decision, but can they order a rematch? That really has to come from the governing body, the WBA, to say, if you want to remain lightweight world champion. But everything I'm hearing is the rematch is going to happen anyway. Like, I think it's pretty much done.
Talk to us about the star power in this May 2nd card.
Yeah, I mean, you got 3 of the hottest young fighters in terms of that, that social media presence.
This latest controversy has sparked a major debate among fans and experts about the need for more transparency in boxing. While the leaked footage, possibly taken out of context, highlights flaws in the current review process, it's becoming clear that boxing commissions might need to adopt new technologies and systems to ensure every controversial moment gets an immediate, objective review. Some fans have already turned to social media, demanding that the governing bodies release the full fight footage and explain the referee's decisions in detail. Although the leaked footage has certainly added fuel to an already intense debate, it's important to keep in mind that allegations alone don't equal solid proof. The angles shown in the video raise valid concerns, but they only show a small part of the bigger picture of what really happened that night.
I've heard some people saying, that he should be disqualified. He went back to the corner. I don't buy that, to be honest with you. I mean, I think that's a warning, but it's a bit of a bizarre situation. For me, there was a lot of people in boxing that were saying that this is a really tough fight. Like, Lamont Roach is a serious fighter. I said it might not be the biggest profile fight, but it's actually quite a tough fight. And Shakur said to me, even the day before, I'm telling you, he's going to have big trouble tomorrow night. And I just feel like hopefully this could be the little something that gives Gervonta a little wake-up call to take him back to the mindset of maybe where he was.
Boxing is a sport filled with complexity, where tactics often blur the line between smart strategy and outright cheating. As the investigation continues and more details emerge, both fans and officials are watching closely for clear evidence that will either support or disprove the allegations against Gervonta Davis. For now, the debate continues. Davis is accused by some of taking advantage of a loophole in the rules, while his team strongly denies any wrongdoing. Regardless, the incident has left a lasting mark on his career, serving as a powerful reminder that in boxing, even a single move, lasting just a few seconds, can have massive consequences. The judges' scorecards of 114 to 114 and 115 to 113 reflect the intense nature of the fight, where Davis successfully defended his WBA lightweight title against Lamont Roach. However, one moment overshadowed the rest of the bout, sparking a heated debate throughout the boxing world. The controversial non-knockdown call came just seconds into the 9th round when Roach attacked aggressively, landing a quick 1-2 combination followed by a sharp right hook. Davis briefly paused, looked toward referee Steve Willis, and then voluntarily took a knee. But instead of being ruled a knockdown, Davis quickly moved toward the ropes, seemingly searching for a towel to wipe his face. This odd sequence left fans and analysts questioning what had just happened.
He's a star. He brings people. He's got a big fan base. He brings good pay-per-view numbers. I don't know what the numbers are in this, but he's one of the guys that bring good pay-per-view numbers. I think all of that, he brings that with him. When a referee allows him to take a knee, which is not a rule in boxing, and get away with it and not make it a 10-8 round. That should have been a 10-8 round. He got hit with a jab just before that. I'm not trying to go after Tank Davis. People already know. Some people say I defend him too much, that I'm saying how great he is. And he is. He's a tremendous, complete fighter. Puncher, fighter, inside, outside. He's patient. He's responsible defensively.
The controversy surrounding the fight has only deepened, with many arguing that Davis's actions should have led to a knockdown or even disqualification. In boxing, once a round starts, there are no timeouts or breaks to regroup. Yet Davis not only took a knee, but also triggered an unofficial timeout, 2 clear violations that should have been ruled as either a knockdown or disqualification. The referee, Steve Willis, did count but inexplicably stopped the count at 3, allowing Davis to rise and continue as if nothing had happened. The fight ended with one judge giving the lead to Davis, while 2 others ruled it a draw. Davis explained his knee drop as a result of sweat and grease from his hair getting in his face, but many, including longtime boxing experts, disagree. One such expert, with over 30 years of experience, expressed that taking a knee without being hit should always be ruled a knockdown, and this incident directly affected the outcome of the fight. Lamont Roach Jr. missed the chance to secure a unanimous decision victory due to the referee's failure to call it a knockdown. At 29 years old, Roach was clearly upset. Despite Davis's rise and explanation, Roach could not accept the decision and has enlisted his attorney to request an official investigation by the New York State Athletic Commission. Roach criticized Davis's actions, saying, "I'm happy with my performance, but I'm frustrated with the scorecards. I thought I should have won. I did what I needed to do to win the rounds, and even without the knee, that should have been a knockdown." Roach went on to describe the incident, stating that after he hit Davis with a jab, Davis took a knee. If he had to wipe his eye or whatever, that's a rookie mistake. You don't do that. That's a knockdown, Roach added. The incident has caused a back and forth between the 2 fighters, even spilling over onto social media. Davis took to X, formerly Twitter, to express his frustration with the draw, claiming, "They took the fight from me and made it a draw because I did that knee." He defended himself further, saying that he landed the most punches in the fight and that Roach didn't even hit him when he took the knee. Davis, known for his relatively low punch output, argued that the reason he dropped to a knee was because the grease from his hair was burning his eyes. However, critics pointed out that Davis's claims didn't hold up, with a community note on his tweet highlighting misleading statistics. In reality, Davis landed fewer punches than Roach round by round. Roach reacted to the situation, calling out the community note as crazy, and pointing out that Davis couldn't escape the ongoing controversy surrounding the knee incident. Despite his recent win over Frank Martin in 2024, Davis's once unchallenged position atop the division now feels more vulnerable. In his fight against Roach earlier this month, Davis entered the ring with an air of invincibility, having dominated in the past. However, Roach, seen as a heavy underdog, pushed Davis harder than anyone had before. From the very first round, Roach stood toe-to-toe with Davis, landing heavy shots and shaking him multiple times. When the final bell rang, many believed Roach had done enough to secure the victory, despite the majority draw decision. The controversy surrounding the fight is far from over, and its lasting impact is undeniable.
Defensively, he's got fast hands, he puts punches together, he goes to the body and head. He's all of that. He can counter punch, he can set traps, all of that. But he was wrong here. He got away with it. But the sport let him get away with it. There's nothing wrong with the fighters.
The controversy surrounding the fight between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach Jr. was fueled by a critical moment in the 9th round when referee Steve Willis missed a knockdown call after Davis's knee touched the canvas. This oversight could have handed Roach a unanimous decision win, and now, over a week later, fresh voices are weighing in on the debate. Lightweight prospect Raymond Morales' father, Gabriel M., has shared his thoughts on why Davis struggled against Roach, pointing out that Davis's previous wins over Roach in the amateur ranks didn't carry over to this fight. Gabriel M. speculated that Davis was respecting Roach a little too much, while his son's team plans to apply constant pressure in a potential future matchup. "We are not going to respect him. We're going to make that fight," said Gabriel confidently. Meanwhile, the New York State Athletic Commission, NYSAC, has finally made its ruling on the knee incident. While they reaffirmed the controversial majority draw between Davis and Roach, they also acknowledged that referee Willis made an error by not calling the knockdown in the 9th round. However, the commission ruled that the bout continued for more than 3 full rounds after this missed call, and overturning the result wasn't seen as guaranteeing a correct outcome. Roach's lawyer, Gregory M. Smith, expressed disappointment but stood firm in his belief that a rematch would end with a victory for Roach. Lamont is confident that a rematch will end with a victory, but until then, he is the people's champion at 135 pounds, Smith said. Davis, on the other hand, defended his actions, claiming that the knee wasn't caused by a punch, but by grease from a hair treatment that had burned his eyes. With the commission's final decision leaving the draw intact, Roach's team has expressed outrage over the way the fight was handled, including Willis's decision to stop his 8 count to signal a non-existent knockdown, which they argue cost Roach a 10-8 round across all 3 scorecards. They also criticized Willis for not penalizing Davis when he turned his back during the action, a move that could have warranted disqualification. Additionally, they were frustrated that Davis was allowed to receive attention from his trainer during the fight. In a surprising turn, two judges gave Davis the 10-9 victory in the 9th round, keeping the draw intact and allowing Davis to maintain his status as the fighter with the most popular following in America. Pro Box TV founder Gary Jonas, who supports Roach, voiced his disappointment, saying, "It's a disappointment, but we had to protest. We can only control what we can control. Once we get Lamont back in the ring with Davis, we'll have the chance to get it right." Despite the outcome, Roach remains hopeful. "I'm optimistic that the New York Commission will give me the win," Roach told Boxing Scene, continuing to stand by his belief that he deserved to win the fight. After a prolonged investigation, the New York State Athletic Commission, NYSAC, admitted to Roach's attorney on Friday that referee Steve Willis had made an error in the 9th round by not calling a knockdown when Davis's knee touched the canvas. While the commission acknowledged that Roach deserved credit for the knockdown, it ultimately stood by its decision and refused to alter the final outcome. Despite this, Roach remains hopeful about securing a rematch with Davis, buoyed not only by his own conviction but also by the overwhelming public support for his performance and the injustice he faced. One of the key factors contributing to the controversy was that the commission's official review never received the video footage of the knockdown in time, which may have led to a potential reversal. Roach's lawyer, Gary Jonas, expressed that, although the decision was disappointing, the response and support for Roach have already given his career a significant boost. "An unofficial win is almost as good as a win," Jonas said. "The support Lamont has received has been overwhelming, and it's a bittersweet outcome, but it's far more sweet than bitter." Roach's strong performance, especially considering he was a 16-1 underdog, took many by surprise. He landed some of the harder punches in the fight, even managing to upend Davis twice. Despite Davis's reputation for power, Roach remained unfazed, which further endeared him to fans and experts alike. Jonas expressed hope that the New York Commission would use this situation as an opportunity to ensure both fighters are treated fairly in the future. "Lamont won the fight in the eyes of the public, and he'll carry that with him," Jonas said, acknowledging that while the commission's decision affirmed that referee Willis made an error, it did not change the outcome. Boxing promoter Eddie Hearn had predicted that the commission would ultimately not reverse the decision, and that's exactly what happened. The NYSAC explained that since the fight continued for 3 more rounds and both fighters adapted to the initial decision, any attempt to change the result would be seen as misplaced conjecture. The commission further argued that overturning the outcome or disqualifying Davis for the incident would have been an unjustified move. Had the knockdown been acknowledged, Roach would have secured a decision victory, potentially crowning him a 2-division world champion. However, with the ruling standing in Davis's favor, he was able to maintain his unbeaten record and retain his WBA lightweight title.
To sport that there's a lot wrong with, and there is, and you see it, and we shouldn't keep seeing it. It's got to be stopped. A referee, that is not in the rule book. You get hit with a jab. I know there was a second or two in between. Sometimes you see a delay, knockdown, whatever. The punch didn't hurt him. I understand that. But he got hit a jab, and then a second, 2 seconds later, he takes a knee. Guess what? I'm sorry. That constitutes a knockdown. Your knee goes down after a punch somewhere around there. That's a knockdown.
A few days ago, Unbiased Box 2 took to X to share an interesting post featuring an interview with WBA super featherweight champion Lamont Roach Jr. on * Nightcap with Shannon Sharp * and Chad Johnson. The conversation quickly turned to the controversial draw with Gervonta "Tank" Davis, leading to a crucial question. Did the referee's missed call in round 9 affect Roach's approach in the later rounds? Without hesitation, Roach gave a firm response. "I'm going to say no," he stated, before explaining why. To Roach, Davis dropping to one knee wasn't a sign of defeat. In fact, it was a moment that gave Roach more confidence. He saw it as proof that his strategy was working, that Davis was starting to feel the pressure and was beginning to falter. The simple fact that he took a knee was really a boost, because what we're doing is working, Roach shared. Roach also noted that he had an advantage in this fight because he and Davis had already faced each other twice in their amateur careers. After landing a clean 3-punch combination, one of which landed flush on Davis's eye, Roach knew he had shifted the momentum. He immediately turned to the referee, demanding, "Keep counting, he's tripping, that's a knockdown." As Davis dropped to a knee, Roach fully expected the referee, Steve Willis, to enforce the standard 10 count. But instead, Willis inexplicably stopped counting at 3, choosing not to call it a knockdown. Roach was visibly frustrated, saying, "If y'all didn't notice, he started to count, and then he stopped. So when he resumed the action, I'm like, what are you doing? Keep counting." This decision, or lack thereof, became the defining moment that led to the fight's disputed draw, as it robbed Roach of a potential knockdown that could have shifted the scorecards in his favor. Adding to the controversy, one of Davis's coaches, Calvin Ford, stepped into the ring mid-round to wipe his fighter's face, a clear violation of the rules that could have led to a disqualification for Davis. For a seasoned referee like Willis to overlook such mistakes in a high-stakes championship fight was baffling. It's no wonder Roach and his team are outraged, viewing it as a blatant officiating error. Roach isn't alone in calling for change. Boxing stars like Ryan Garcia and Terence Crawford have also voiced their concerns about the officiating and the need for improvements in the sport. Ryan Garcia expressed his frustration on Sunday in a tweet, questioning whether the commission only makes changes when fighters like Devin Haney complain or if they genuinely care about the integrity of the sport. "Nothing against Tank," he wrote, "but since the commission switched my victory, they should switch this victory for Roach. They won't though because they were out to get me from the beginning." Terence Crawford also chimed in, posting on X, "Roach won, and that should have been called a knockdown. Let's see what happens." Just minutes later, Crawford followed up with another tweet saying, "I've never seen someone take a knee and they don't count it as a knockdown. Must have forgotten the rules for tonight." Meanwhile, Teofimo Lopez publicly supported Tank Davis not just for his fight with Lamont Roach, but also for a potential clash with Shakur Stevenson. At the Fatal Fury press conference in New York, Fight Hype spoke with Lopez, who was asked about a potential matchup between Davis and Stevenson. Without hesitation, Lopez said, "I still think Tank will win against Shakur, technically. I just think like that." He also added that he believes in Davis's in-ring skills and power. Lopez also noted that Davis needed the loss to Roach Jr. to get back on track. Tank had been sitting on his laurels. All of this was needed for Gervonta, Lopez said. He believed that Davis would be more cautious moving forward after the tough fight. When asked who he thought won on March 1st, the 27-year-old Lopez replied, "To be honest, I'll say Tank for the name." As for the knee controversy, Lopez stated, "It doesn't really matter, guys. It's boxing business." That's all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss our upcoming content.